Alright, we are first going to start with punishers. Okay, ready? At 9 frames fast, she has forward, forward, 4. I believe forward, forward, 4 is minus 16? I believe it is. Let's check real quick. Minus 16 at least. Yeah, minus 16. So forward, forward, 4 is minus 16. So you want to be careful when you use that. Or at least minus 16. We have, for 10 frames, we have 1, 1. 1, 1. High mid. I believe it doesn't track to her left. I believe you can step it to her left. So you watch out for that. For 12 frames, we have 2, 2. It tracks fairly well. If they get hit by the first hit, they get hit by the second hit, I believe. Quick note on 2, 2. If your opponent gets hit by a counter hit on back 1, 1, then 2, 2 is free. So 2, 2 is free after a counter hit back 1, 1. I don't know if you could actually hit confirm that. It would be quite difficult, but that is a small little note. At 13 frames, she has forward 2, 3. In my opinion, is one of her best punishers. It will wall splat if your opponent's right side is against the wall, or if your opponent is. Wait, let me check something. Oops. Yeah. So it always hits your opponent to the left. So if you're on the right side, your opponent will only wall splat if their right side is against the wall. If you're on the left side, if their right side is against the wall. So you gotta know about that. For 15 frames, she has a up forward 3, which I believe is safe. We can check that real quick as well. This is going to be a little bit testy. Oh, it's negative 12, negative 13, not negative 15, or not negative 16, not negative 15. So it's negative 13 or 14. I can check. So it's negative 14. I believe it's negative 14. For 16 frames, down forward 2. Okay, down forward 2, in my opinion, is one of her best punishers besides forward 2, 3. Down forward 2 is either minus 1 or I believe it's minus 1. You get full combo. It doesn't launch on crouching opponents. But that's the trade-off. The range is quite deceptive. It goes off the end of her kunai. So when she uppercuts with the end of her kunai, if I can even do the move. And she like takes a step forward. So the range is a little bit deceptive. You can really get some good punishes with that. And I believe that covers her standing punch. Oh, I forgot to mention for 12 frames she also has down forward 4, which is 20 damage. Not nearly as good as 2, 2. 2, 2 you can just mash it. Down forward 4 is good as a 12 frame poke. It's good for keep out. A lot of people, if you just do 2 in a row, people get hit by the second one because they try to go in. It's pretty good. I don't know how unsafe it is. I could check real quick. Oops. Oops. That's not negative 13. not negative 12, not negative 10, not negative 9. So it's pretty good. It's pretty safe. So you want to use that sometimes. Now we're going to cover while standing punishers. While standing, for 10 frames, she has forward, forward, 4. I don't know if, yeah, that's a little bit difficult. You might have to practice that. It's not safe, so if a low is minus 10, I don't know if there is a low that's minus 10, but you would want to use forward, forward, 4. Maybe Brian's got one. Brian might have one, so forward, forward, 4. For 11 frames, she has while standing 4. It's mid. I believe it's safe. It's probably safe. Oops. It has a lot of pushback, and it's safe. You're not going to get hit with jabs, I don't think. For 13 frames, she has a while standing 1-1. It's also a bound move. I'll mention that later in the bound moves also. This is pretty good. It does a decent chunk of damage. The animation's pretty tight. For 15 frames, up forward 3. I believe up forward 3 is safe, opposed to oh no, it's minus 14, that's right. We tested that earlier. Okay. So, up forward 3, minus 14. While standing 3 is minus 13, I believe. So, while standing 3, also tag bufferable, 15 frame punisher from crouching, minus 13. So you best be careful with that. Bound moves. Oh, we're into bound moves. Okay. We got while standing 1-1. So while standing 1-1. Down 1, one of my favorites. Down forward 1+2. Set 1, 2, 4. Set is one of her stances. Set. Can't pronounce it.
Setsu Nagaki.
You sure? Okay. Well, that's the stance. So out of the set stance, we have 2-1-4. 2-1-4 is what you'll see a lot of times in combos. It's not necessarily always the best. It has decent wall carry. If I get to the wall, I like to just go like that and chuck them over to the wall and then get it down forward 1-2 after they wall splat. So sometimes it's better not to finish it. Sometimes it's better to finish it if that's what you're using. And I just lost my notes for a second. We have a forward, forward, 3+4, 2-4. Oops. So forward, forward, 3+4, 2-4. I believe this move is unsafe. So you don't want to just throw it out there. I believe all of it, it's all interrupted. It's like after every hit, it's like -17 or something. So it's not good for just a poke, even though it has mix-ups out of it. The only good one is like that. So that's a forward, forward, 3+4 up. That's the only way to really use it safely. Otherwise, you're gonna get really punished for it. You probably even could get caught off of that. but it's okay to throw out every once in a while, I guess, if your opponent's not too hip to it. We have for another bound move, down 1 plus 2, 2, 4. Now that's down 1 plus 2 is her Doton stance. Doton? One of those 3 or 4. Looks like this. It's got smoke. So Doton 3, 4. I mean 2, 4. Doton 2, 4. It's okay for oki catches. Sometimes you can get it if your opponent whiffs. I like to use it more for evasive purposes than bound moves because it's actually really hard to get it off of anything. You won't be using that a whole lot. And we're going to go right into our homing moves. 3-3. The first hit is really what you want to be using. The second hit is really obvious low. 3-4. Sometimes I'll catch people with that, but it's really unlikely. 3. Just 3 is my go-to homing move if people are up at my face sidestepping. It's real quick. I believe it's safe. I could test it real quick, which I... Huh? All up in your face, sidestepping. Oops. Yeah, it's safe. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not. You really gotta mash that. So it's -10. But it's you have to really, the hit stun's really light. So you have to, the hit stun's really light on the -10 move. So you got to be on point for that punish. It's really hard to do. Homing move, forward, or not forward, forward 3-4, 3 plus 4, like that. It's a homing move. It is a high. It's duckable. It's safe. Get a counter hit launcher or counter hit combo. She also has back 2. I'm not going to say she also has throughout the duration of this tutorial, so I'm going to say back 2 is another homing move. Back 2. It's got really good range. Wall spots that way. If they're on the other side, it probably doesn't wall spot that way. You can kind of tell a lot of her moves throw opponents in one direction. So you got to know which way your move is going to throw your opponent. I'm not sure how fast it is, but it's a really solid mid. Okay, so back 2. I'm going to begin covering her launchers. As I go, I may forget some. So if you notice, I've missed a launcher out of the plethora of them. Please let me know. I'm not going to include moves like Dodon Tooth. Well, I guess I can. Okay, it's sort of a launcher. If they get hit by the first hit, okay, so maybe I will. So down forward 2 is a big one. Down forward 2 is 16 frames fast and safe. Up forward 3 or up forward 3 then 4. Up forward 3, 4 is -16, which is why I didn't really include it in her punishers. If you're gonna do up forward 3, 4, it's better just to do up forward 3, which is -14. And unless you're going against Brian, it shouldn't be that terrible to mess up. It'll hurt you, but it won't hurt you like up forward 3, 4. So now we have sidestep left. Or that was sidestep right. Sidestep left, 3 plus 4. You can only catch this combo if you're sidestep left. I don't know if it works in little characters. I guess it doesn't work on little characters. I'm mashing it. So it doesn't work on small characters. So that's good to know. It only works on bigger characters. So it doesn't work. It probably doesn't work on Ling. Probably doesn't work on Kuni. Probably doesn't work on Lei. It might not work on some of the other females, but I haven't had problems with those ones. So really small characters, sidestep left 3+4 won't work. Down forward 1+2. Down forward 1+2. Apparently that doesn't work on smaller characters either. So maybe this wasn't a good example. You get it from doing down jab and then while standing 1-1. So off of sidestep left 3+4, it's down back 1 and then while standing 1-1 to continue the combo. Says same thing for down forward 1+2. Now we got, oops. So up 3+4, you can get a combo off of. I believe up 3+4 is safe. Actually, plus on block. I believe it's plus. I want to say 5 or 7. It's a lot. I believe it's plus 6. It's in between 5 to 7, because if you do up forward 1+2, I mean not up forward 1+2, up forward 3+4, and they block it, and then you do forward 1+2, it'll trade with jabs. So it's plus 6, at least. Up forward 3+4 is the same thing, but it has a second hit. So every once in a while you want to do up forward 3+4, and then up forward 3+4, 3+4. You get a combo off the second hit still. Oops. Stop. Okay. Down forward 3-2. This was the day 1 tactic. Her sweeping Kuni juggle starter. The good thing about this is it's not parryable. Anything that uses Kuni's kunai is unparryable. So down forward 2 is unparryable, 2-2, 2-3, forward 2-3, back 2, down jab while standing. I forgot to talk about while standing 2 in Punishers. It's not good for a lot of Punishers. It's better for mix-ups because it's safe and it has this weird nosebleed stun. So there's that. But down forward 3-2 is not parryable. It also can be cancelled into holding down, down forward. Yeah, so down and down forward. I don't really recommend this against higher level players. Sometimes you can catch people with it. If they don't play the matchup a lot, you'll catch people with it. But if they do play the matchup a lot, don't be using it. It's not as good as people make it out to be. Sometimes they'll use it as a. You can also use it as like a tech catch. If like you spike your opponent and then they don't get up, if they're like gonna get up back turn. I'll show you that later when I get into that though. So up 1+2 is a unblockable juggle starter. So that's a really good move. If you can catch your opponent scared from the up forward, the up up 3+4, then you can unblockable them. If they're just really turtling, a lot of people get hit by it. They kind of like sit there and they're just like, oh, what's he doing? I don't know what that is. So up forward 2 on counter hit is also a juggle starter. Or maybe it's not. It is. So you gotta do down jab while standing 1-1. So that's really good. Back 1+2 is a high mid juggle starter. It's safe. Has a lot of pushback on block. They got to be really close for it to hit. Like range 1 to at least range 1. If they're not in range 1, you're not hitting them with it. Sometimes you can interrupt people with it. I'm not sure how fast it is. It's got to be 17 frames. Maybe it's 17 frames. Don't take my word on that. When I was messing with some frame traps earlier, it kind of seemed like it was rather slow. So I talked about up 1+2, forward, back 1+2. We're going to go into our tag bufferable launchers. Down forward 1-3. Okay. A lot of people are going to tell you not to use this a lot. And I'm going to tell you otherwise depending on your circumstances. If people don't play the matchup a lot, or if they like to duck a lot, if people play the matchup a lot and they like to duck a lot, don't use it. It's gonna really mess you up. But if you're playing online and somebody knows the matchup and there's a little bit of lag, I don't necessarily encourage lag abuse, but if your connection is just bad and you're like, okay, this guy is doing whatever with his internet, down forward 3-1 has a lot of pushback. They're not going to punish you for it unless they have they might be able to punish you for it if they have Kuni or another long range 13 frame punisher. I'm not sure how negative it is. I could check real quick. I'll talk more about down forward 3-1 while I'm doing this. Down forward 1-3. Down forward 1-3 is one of those moves that kind of doesn't work on. No, it's safe. That looks pretty safe. They have to have I'm not gonna be able to get that. Yeah, it's not. It's safe. The second hit's high, so you can duck it. But if they push a button in between the string, like I just did, and it's not delay, or even it is delay, I believe it'll catch them. So if they push a button during the string, I'm blocking, and I get hit. You can't step it. You can't backdash it. You can duck it. That's all you can do. You have to duck it. So you can use it in the middle of combos. This is how I use it. I'll use it just as a poke if they can't duck it, and then I'll also use it in the middle of combos like that. Or if I want to do a solo combo, and that was down forward 1-3, forward 3, 1-2, 4. That leads to some of her more consistent combos, and if things trade, you can kind of throw it out there if you float them and chuck them back up in the air and catch that. That's just one of the things that comes with experience from the character later on, and it's rather difficult in the beginning to get used to that. And now we're going to talk about another tag bufferable launcher, which is up back 3+4. This kind of resembles Zhao Yu's up back 3+4. It's long range. It's minus 15 or 16. So it's minus 16. So it's obviously not as good as I thought it was. So I won't be using that as much. I was not aware it was minus 16. So you can use it actually as out of full crouch. But if you're going to use a launcher out of full crouch, I recommend up 3+4. But it does have its uses, I suppose. Forward 2 is a tag bufferable launcher. The pushback makes it really hard to punish, if you can even punish it. So up, forward 2. So it's minus 13. Minus 15, I mean 16. So it's minus 16, but the pushback makes it really hard to punish. So you have to have someone with a really long punisher. Let's see. Other tag buffable launchers. Oh, and a quick note on a forward 2. You can, if you hold up out of it, you can throw out some fire. It's okay if you want to wall spot them with fire. We're going to do wall standing 3, which is also tag bufferable. Unfortunately, it's net minus 13. You're not going to get launched for minus 13, but if someone has a really strong 12 frame punisher, it's going to hurt. While standing 3. That's one of my favorite moves. I use it all the time. I don't ever actually tag buffer it, maybe I should. But that's while standing 3, tag bufferable. I guess we'll go over tag fillers. This is going to be a little bit complicated, so try to bear with me. For tag fillers, we have forward, sidestep right, back 3, 4. Now, the reason you do the movement part of this is because if you just do back 3 then 4, it doesn't always hit. You see how it whiffed right there? It's inconsistent. So what you want to do in order to time it right, forward, sidestep right, okay, forward, oops, sidestep right, and then you want to pick them up off the ground with it almost. And that makes it more consistent. Clearly you have to have an ender that hits, but so if you're going to do back 3 then 4 for a filler, which is in my opinion our second best filler. I don't use that in open space all the time depending on the number of hits I have in the combo. That's more for like long hit filler or 2-hit filler or long hit filler. Okay. The other filler, which is the one I use a lot, and I haven't ever shown anyone how to do it other than on stream like 2 weeks ago or something. I showed someone and I never see anyone else use this. If you have less than 5 hits in a combo, so that was 5 hits, it didn't work. What you have to do is and what that is, it's forward 4, and then you go into set, and you cancel it by holding back, and then you do, without letting go of back, you hit 4. And the timing is really strict. You have to really practice it. It took me a long time to get it down. It's actually, it does 3 points more than back 4 than 3. So for the wall, we're going to cover wall tag fillers. I didn't cover this in my Xiaoyu juggle or my Xiaoyu guide because there's a lot to cover in Xiaoyu. Not so much in Kuni, so I can cover more of the basic stuff. For tag fillers for the wall, that's her. That was the day 1 filler. Now that's down 2, 1, 2, and then 1 plus 2, and that's her 10,000 hit, whatever some people like to call it. And now the filler I use for the wall sometimes is based off of the tag filler I use. Or no, my tag filler, my open space tag filler, was based off this wall combo, which several people found at the same time, and so nobody's really credited with it. It's forward 4, back, and then down 2, 1, 2, 1 plus 2. Okay, so forward 4, back, down 2, 1, down 2, 1, 2, 1 plus 2. The other filler I use at the wall, which is team specific, is 3 then 4, so 3, 4. And the reason I use this is because in certain cases it's better to use it. It's not all the time, it depends on your second character. You can almost max out juggle damage, or you can do some 6 setups with 3, 4, because you gain control of your point character before the animation is finished. So I'm gain control. That can allow for some crazy stuff. So that's the other one I use, and I use that a lot for if I just want to kill and they got low HP. It's really easy. It's just 3 then 4. Easy wall combo. And now I'm going to cover her stances real quick. Some of the stuff out of her stances, Oki off of stuff out of her stances, things like that. I meant to hit default. Okay, so the first stance I'm going to cover is set forward 3. And it says flip stance, and out of it she has a sweep, which is set forward 3, 2. You can do some, you can catch some people, it tracks weird. You can see that it kind of like tracks to her right. Okay, it tracks to her right, so it's rather it's not parryable, so people gotta block it. I wouldn't recommend using it. It's punishable. It's for some goofy stuff if you want to do it. Out of this, she also has 3, 4, or 3 plus 4 out of the flip, and you know, it's a high, and the other one's a low. And there's no reason to ever use it, really, because people just block low, and it'll block the high. I mean, it'll block the low and duck the high, and the only other mix-up out of it is just to go into full crouch and then do a mid. And you know, people are just gonna stand up. It's not that hard to block. You just crouch and then stand up when she lands, because she has to do the sweep and the high while she's flipping. So that's not a real popular. That's a popular stance for lower level Kunimitsus. I don't use it as much unless I'm fighting against lower level people who might not be able to block it. I'm going to talk about set something. I'll edit in girlfriend's voice right here, saying it.
Setsu Nagake.
Sasuke? Okay. It's forward 3. Forward 3 is like this weird ninja dash stance. Out of it, she has some real cool stuff. She has one of her bound moves, 2-1-4. She also has a mid, set 2, and she also has, she can do her flip stance out of it. So it's part of the mix-up. I like to just dash with it. it's kind of like a Lars stance. You can cover a lot of distance from range 3. You can delay any hit you might do, and you can extend the range by doing it at the end of the stance. Not quite that far. Almost that far. So it's a really long range. You can also do moves immediately, so it can be short range and long range. And it's one of her. This stance makes Kuni really strong at huge amounts of space. So I recommend using that. I use it a lot. The mid option out of it, I believe, is safe. It's also a counter hit launcher, and the other version is a counter hit launcher on the second hit of the string, and it's also high, so people can duck it. I'll talk more about this move later on in key moves, because I do use it a lot. The other move out of a stance she has is out of Duton, one of those. It's D-O-T-O-N. She has 2-4 out of it. That's one of her bound moves. It's okay if you're going to catch people tagging in. It has good range. The other move is 3. Okay, 3 and then 4. 4 is the evasive part of it. You can get out of some stuff with it, but if I was going to get out of someone running at me, I would just do up 3. Or even this is more evasive than just 4. So Doton, 3. This move is really unique in the fact that it's unique in that you have some not obvious Oki out of it. I made a video about this earlier on. I'm hoping this will get more views, and people will catch on to this tech that I found. It's Doton 3, right? And then if they try to get up right away, you do forward 3 and then set 1, and you can float them for a combo. Now a lot of people still fall for this. It's really good even at high levels. The only way out of it is to do a wake-up kick, right? And so is to do a wake-up kick or side roll. Now if they side roll off of Doton 3, you do that, and then you down jab, down back 1, and then while standing 1-1. So both variations, you can kind of visually confirm that they rolled sideways and then down jab. And it's really good because that's the only way out of it. If they tech roll, if they side roll, they can't tech roll because of the way they landed. If they back roll, it'll catch. The only way to get out of it consistently is to do a wake up kick, and so we'll just do a wake up mid kick. So like it'll whiff if you do a wake up kick. But she has her mid option that causes counter hit launchers, and this is where you really want to use that. So that's the only way out of it. The mix-up's there. If they don't know how to get out of it, then you can keep doing it. If they figure it out, then you have the option to go for the mid and the counter hit. Or they can lay there, which is what most people do against this. They'll just lay there, and then you can sit there and hit them with ground hitting moves. So Doton 3 is, in my opinion, one of Kunimitsu's best moves out of any stance, and that is why I use it so much. It's evasive. It won't get you out of some stuff, but it'll get you out of a lot of stuff. Like if I just randomly, if Lee's running at you and he does his while running 3 then 4 or 4 then 3, I'm not sure which it is. If you do Doten 3, you'll or no, you'll do if you do Doten 2-4, it'll evade it. So you can go right underneath Lee if he's doing it. I use that all the time against him. So that's some of her stance stuff. She's not real stance heavy, but you do want to use her stances integrated into your play. At least Doten and Set. So those are real good ones. I think I'm going to go into her key moves and her top moves, in my opinion. And this is just from me playing the character since it's just me playing the character from day one. What I've discovered to be really good with her. I'm going to start with forward 1+2. I'm just going to say forward 1+2, 16 frames fast, safe. You can use like up 3+4, forward 1+2. Okay? And then we're also going to talk about back 4-3. Back 4 then 3. Back 4 then 3 is really good. They have to step the first hit. If they don't step the first hit and they try to step the second hit, they're going to get hit. It's also good for combos. The reason I chose Law for this is because this is just one scenario. Okay, you see how he did the slide? With Kunimitsu, when you're trying to catch combos off of stuff like this, you have to stand up and do back 4. See how I punished it? That's the only way to float someone off of something like that. And for a long time I wasn't aware of that, and it's really hurt me. Like in clutch situations, knowing that you have to pick them up back 4. You can't pick them up with while standing 1-1. You can't pick them up with anything else other than back 4, and that's Kunimitsu's ground float. And it's really good to use that if they're on the ground, if they're trying to get up. You can make some tech catch situations with it, or like back roll catches. So back 4 then 3 is really good in my opinion. Probably in every Kunimitsu player's opinion. It's kind of overused. I try not to use it that much, only because unless my opponent's just like button happy, then I'll use it. But a lot of times what people do is they and this is like every low level Kunimitsu will do this. They'll go, and I'll use it sometimes only because I wouldn't even say low level people use it. It's just because if they don't know how to get out of this, and this is down 4 out of back turn, and if the first hit hits, the second one hits. If they backdash the first hit, they can kick you out of the rest of this, and so it's not that great because you have to go into back turn. It's way less solid than just doing, and this is what I do. I'll do back 4 and then I'll do a 2 throw, because then I can just mash 2 to do a throw, and it's real ambiguous. It's hard to see it because you can delay the hits and then you can do the throw, and the throw will interrupt some stuff just because it's a throw. The other option out of it is back turn hop kick. It's mid. It's a good option. What I like to use if people play against Kunimitsu a lot and that was back 4, down forward, and then while standing 3. So you use down forward to flip around real quick, and then you do while standing 3, and they think you're doing the low. I've caught some people with that. The only option out of it is just to backdash it, though. So if they're real paranoid about this mix-up, or the low mix-up, they should just backdash. The other option out of this is a generic back turn low. And all that is I'm going to start using this more. It's back 4 and then down 3. So you have to do back 4 and then down and then 3 so that it cancels the string and then does the low. So that's a good way to mix people up. You can also do back 1 plus 2. She has a lot of options out of back turn. I would mess with them, see how your opponent reacts a little bit, and then just get a feel for it. I'd practice almost all her options out of it because she also has 2-3, which is high, 1-2, which is high mid. I don't ever use those unless I'm doing jump over tactics, but that's an option. Was that an ostrich? Or that's just someone's hand? I thought I saw an ostrich. Okay, let's not talk about the ostrich. Down forward 2, definitely a key move. Safe, completely safe. Deceptive range. I talked about it earlier. It's a really good move. 3 is, in my opinion, one of her best homing moves, and forward 3 plus 4. Those are her good homing moves. Back 2 is okay, but it's just so slow. It is mid, but the other ones are so quick that people aren't going to be ducking them. Unless it's forward 3 plus 4. People will duck that. People will not duck just 3. Up forward, up 3 plus 4. This is one of her best launchers. It's evasive. Sometimes you'll get floated though. It's safe. So it's safe. It's really good. It's just really good. That's just all there is to it. Because you got the second hit, and that kind of makes people scared and they won't hit buttons. Back turn throws. Okay, I talked about it when I talked about back 4-3. Back turn throws are typically a Zhao Yu thing, right? But being a Zhao Yu player, I've kind of incorporated back turn throws into my Kunimitsu game. They're really it's really hard to tell which throw it is, and it's just a 50-50. There's ways out of it, so you got to keep them in check with some other moves, but back turn throws are really good with Kunimitsu. It's just another layer on the cake. Full crouch 3. I haven't talked about full crouch 3. I should have in launchers. Full crouch 3, you get wall standing 4, and then you get down 2, 1, 2, 1 plus 2. Now, I talked about this in another video. Okay, that's how you do it. If you're close enough to the wall, just the right angle, you can get it. I get this a lot, actually, especially off of tag crash at the wall. If your opponent tag crashes at the wall and it hits Kunimitsu, it leaves you in full crouch. And you don't want to overuse it because people catch on. But if they tag crash at the wall and it leaves you in full crouch, it also leaves you at the perfect distance for her to catch that combo. And that's really it's a really big advantage if you know that and people are really tag crash heavy. I need a drink of water. So that's full crouch 3. You can also insinuate mix-ups with full crouch 3 and then just doing like hop kicks or like up 3 plus 4. So a lot of times I'll just duck in my opponent's face and they'll be scared of full crouch 3 because it hurts enough where you don't want to get hit by it. You don't want to get hit by that. Especially if someone just keeps doing it over and over and over and over again and you're just like, oh, forget this. I'm just going to duck. And then, well, you get hit by a hop kick. hop kick or up 3+4 or one of her other good mids out of it. So I talked about Doten 3 earlier. Doten 3 is, in my opinion, one of her best moves. You can sidewalk it. You can also backdash it, but that's why you have it has really good range, or decent range, from range like, I don't know. It's just if your opponent's whiffing, or it's safe. Doten 3 is completely safe. Sometimes you get like weird cross-up situations. It's sort of like a dive kick. So Kuni has a dive kick. Dive kick's really good in any game you play. And this is one of my favorite moves she has, is down back 3-3-4. So 3-3-4. There's a 13 frame gap in between down 3-3 and the 4. So people can interrupt it. But if they don't know that, then the 4 is safe. Okay, it's good for wall splats. Back 3 then 4. Back 3 hits grounded. It's a good mid. It leaves full crouch. I don't know if you get anything off of it if it hits, but back 3 then 4 is good at the wall if they're gonna block. It has a lot of pushback. It's pretty safe. It hits grounded. If the first hit hits on the ground, the second hit hits on the ground most of the time. So back 3 then 4, really safe. If they block it and then try to whiff something, or try to punish you and they whiff, you get forward 2-3. You'll see me do that a lot, especially if people are just mashing buttons. It's pretty good at the wall. Forward 4 leaves you in the stance, and it's safe, or it's relatively plus. And so you can do 2-1 or 1-2. Set 1-2, which is actually, I'll talk about this all in the same one. Set 1-2 is hit confirmable. Thanks to Jimmy for letting me know that a long time ago. Set 1-2 is hit confirmable. It's hit confirmable by a lot. You can delay it a lot. So if the first hit hits, the second one will hit if you time it right. That's a real good move. So hit confirmable. Also, I want to talk about forward 1+4. It's her tag bufferable throw. It's a down break. A lot of people don't know that. So a lot of people do, a lot of people don't. It depends on your opponent. But if you do forward 4 and then down 1+4, I mean not down 1+4, forward 4 and then forward 1+4, the plus frames, or not necessarily plus frames, but the frames from forward 4 don't allow it for it to be interrupted. So I'll use that a lot if people don't know the break. And you know, the thing with that is that's just one of those things you have to know with the character, is that you break it with down. If you do know how to break it with down, it's really easy to break. If you don't, that'll give you a lot of trouble. And those are, in my opinion, some of her best moves. If you like the video, tell your friends, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I also have Twitch and Twitter. Follow me. I'll be posting some new videos soon.